Good morning, everybody. Welcome in to the right side of campus here for Monday, November 5th, 2018. I'm your host, the big man on campus, recapping a great week in football and in the NFL and college football. We'll break all that down and more. Hope you all had a great weekend. Let's bring in our co-host, Donnie Wrightside. Donnie, how you doing today?
Doing good today. Another Monday morning here, Jeff. It's always stressful, isn't it? I mean, it's amazing how you can sit here all day long on a Saturday and all day long on a Sunday with your eyes glued to the television. And how about it, Jeff? Saturday night disappointed us a little bit with Alabama LSU and that, boat rocking, rock'em sock'em 29-0 blowout. But then it redeems itself, Jeff, with the 4 o'clock games and the night games last night. Some really good viewing and action out there. And a huge card today to go over. It's Recap Armchair Quarterback Monday, Jeff. One of my favorite days of the week.
We'll break everything down and more. Great weekends, bad weekends. Everybody had them in between. We'll do some morning headlines and we'll get you ready for Tennessee and Dallas tonight on Monday Night Football. But do us a favor before we do anything. Please hit the like button if you're coming in here. If you're new around here, please hit that like button. Even if you're not new around here, hit the like button. And, if you're new, notice we have a chat box. Subscribe to the channel. Say hello. A lot of great content here at SDR. Whether you're looking for a sports book, you're looking for a place to chat with other sports bettors, or you're looking for some blogs, or you want to learn more about a certain sport or something, SBR has it for you. A one-stop shop for sports bettors. Let's get into it here, Donnie. We'll start it out with some NBA talk quickly. And the Joel Embiid and Andre Drummond beef continues after Saturday. Joel Embiid absolutely dominated Andre Drummond. And, Donnie, this little scrum continues to ensue between these two. And Joel Embiid has won this battle. According to Embiid, he owns a lot of real estate in Drummond's head, and that he's going to build more. Called him a bum as well. Joel Embiid, again, Donnie, I mean, he's doing what he's got to do. He's been terrific this year. He's really been the one bright spot for the Sixers so far. And people will go to Joel Embiid and say, well, what have you won? Joel Embiid's, it's not by his fault. Joel Embiid has been terrific. But Andre Drummond needs to shut up and sit down, doesn't he, in this case? He's been brutal against Embiid.
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to keep the NBA alive here on the show a little bit. We'll talk some NBA action a little bit later, but I guess, tree falls in the forest. Does anybody hear it? I don't even know if more than 10 people actually watched that game versus Detroit and Philadelphia, and rightfully so. They probably shouldn't have. But, Embiid's going to keep things popping. The Sixers can't win on the road to save their life. Looks like they're bored as hell. They have 2 players and a bunch of 9 or 10 bums filling out the bench. So, at least somebody's keeping our hopes up here in Philadelphia with Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I try to throw the story in just because I feel like it was somewhat important, but for the most part, it really didn't move the needle. I mean, no one, I don't think, even saw this, over the weekend just because there's so much going on. But, Joel tries to keep the Sixers relevant, which that's been difficult. Let's move on here. The Air Force Falcon, this is kind of a weird story. The Air Force Falcon mascot was injured at West Point during a prank between the two teams. Good news, though. He is getting some, much-needed rest and will be improving. I'm trying to find more about what actually happened, Donnie, during this prank. Do you know what happened exactly?
No, I don't. I just saw he got hurt, some wings. I figured maybe the Army cadets lit him on fire or something like that. I have no idea, but it did seem like an interesting story.
Okay, here we go.
I was hoping you had some details. Go ahead.
According to Sam Dollar, the Air Force team advisor for the Falconry team, whatever that is.
Any related to Cameron Dollar, Jeff?
Not sure. I don't know who that is either, but I don't know. He told the New York Times on Sunday that 2 West Point cadets took the birds, threw sweaters over them, and stuffed them into dog crates. Dollar said the cadets turned over the birds Saturday morning with Aurora's wings bloodied, likely from thrashing inside the crate. So that seems like something that the cadets should not be doing. So I guess somebody tried to play a prank. I'm not sure what's pranky about that. I don't know. It kind of seems to be cruel in a way. Probably should be arrested for animal cruelty, but I guess a joke that went too far, Donnie, if there's a joke here.
No, yeah, there might be one. G&G says, thanks, Donnie and Big Man. I took your advice yesterday on the Late Show and hit a nice Fish and Jets under 29.9. I love. Is that the Asian handicap, Jeff? 29.9 you can get in the unders? Is that what we were looking at?
Maybe he should have hit 5 by accident. I don't
I
know.
know. I'm just playing. Yeah.
No, I don't think there's a handicap with that number. No. But I guess Donnie, do you think these two should be arrested for cruelty? I think they should. That's
Yeah,
fucked
come
up.
on, man. You can't mess around. Especially, it's what is
Beautiful
the one
bird, like
team? Navy does Navy have a go? Yeah, exactly. Like you can't mess with the Eagle. We go to the Eagles games all the time. That Challenger Eagle that makes its rounds where he flies, from the top of the stadium and everybody cheers and then they give him a little treat when he gets down there. Like those guys are national treasures, man. You can't be messing around with them. Stop it.
this has me think every time I see like a bird story, I think of that. Donnie, you remember in Dumb and Dumber when they're at that charity thing, and they're
Yes, yes.
they're standing in the back and they open the he goes, it's time for a little bubbly. And they open the thing and it hits the snow owl like up in the
Uh-huh.
front of the room, and they just act like nothing happened. Um so yeah, you can't screw around with the Falcons or the Eagles or the different birds that would fly around. Uh Bad weekend. Actually, I'm sorry, one more SEC Bama conspiracy. This is kind of a weird story, but the guy got a lot of shit for this, and I don't really know why. I thought he was totally right. James Carville, who, um, basically he comes on. I guess he's some kind of he's
He's a
connected to the
political
SEC.
analyst. Yeah, he used to
Yeah,
work about
right.
with Clinton, like James Carville. Yeah, if you see him on TV, you'd know his face right away if you don't know the name.
Yeah, he basically thinks that there's some kind of deep state conspiracy between the SEC and Alabama, that they throw people out of games when they have to play Alabama, so it's easier for Alabama. Basically, he said that Greg Sankey, who's the SEC commissioner, um, you know, basically is in bed with Alabama, and that they'll suspend players when they play Alabama, so Alabama has an easier time. He was quoted as saying Tennessee's best player couldn't play against Alabama because of the SEC. Missouri's best player couldn't play against Alabama because of this. Listen, I hate to tell Carville here this, but all those players could play and they still would have lost to Alabama. Again,
You
ESPN
know
had
what's
to
interesting with that
apologize
football game?
for it.
Did you watch that game, Jeff? Did you watch at least the first half of that game?
Probably like the first quarter.
Yeah, so I'm watching the game, and my favorite part, and anybody who watched the game will pick up on this. The MO of the first half for LSU was keep the game close, keep it within 10 points, because you're going to get your best defensive player back. If you can't score, what is the point of keeping the game close to 10 points at the half? And that whole notion was they're just trying to get to the half. There's 8 minutes left. There's 10 minutes left. Can they just get to the half and keep? Who was Herschel Walker going to come back? Was Leonard Fournette coming back, Jeff? Was
Yeah,
Odell
yeah.
Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry going to line up at halftime? I didn't understand that whole MO of keep it close until we get our best defensive player back. What was that about?
Yeah, no, I heard the same stuff. It kept with, Devin White's coming back at halftime.
Wait, yeah,
Okay, well,
was he playing? Was he
he
running the
doesn't.
option on op?
Yeah, I was thinking like, he doesn't catch passes or run the ball, do you? Um, James Carville also done it after the fact. ESPN had to apologize. Carville tweeted, grabbing bite to eat at Phil's Oyster Bar. Saw gutless ESPN cut into their show and bowed down to the SEC. I have documentary evidence. They know what's going on, but still
Uh-oh.
can't help but suck up the power. Go Tigers. Hashtag speak truth to power. Hashtag release
Feinbaum
the
said
tech.
that? Who said that?
Carville said that.
Oh, Corbel said it. Oh, I thought you said Feinbaum. That would have been
Settle down.
surprising because he's a Bama guy. Yeah.
Yeah, not happy. But hey, Donnie, was he wrong? I don't know. Probably not. It does seem
No,
like
we like to
Alabama
believe in
gets
those
all the.
controversies, don't you? Yeah, exactly. Like Alabama is probably dropping bags off left and right on front doors, but it's good for business for Alabama to be really good. The numbers provide that, right?
Eric Sweetek, we're going to arrest kids for poor decisions now. Yeah, yeah. I mean, when they're grown adults, yeah, we are going to. You should know better than to steal a falcon and play pranks on it. That's cruel. You have to set an example, dude. It's not like they ran through someone's yard at night, dude. They
They
did
toilet
something
papered the
cruel.
lawn.
Right. Thanks, not flush out. Appreciate it. Cheers.
By the way,
Um,
Jeff, just yeah, enough
yeah.
flush saying that thing. How about yesterday's show, the closing line pregame show? close to 500 live in attendance. One of the best fun, most fun shows we've had all over the channels. And we were thanking people left and right in the chat box. Those shows are fun, man. When that chat box, it's hard. Half the country's not even up right now, half the world. So the fact that we get close to 200 people in the morning is a minor miracle, but it shows that you guys like the show. But that was awesome yesterday, man. Right away when we got there, me and Jeff were joking around before the show saying, like, it is daylight savings, and that's why 30, 40, 50 people were in here an hour early, a half hour early. But that show was popping start to finish and was a lot of fun, big man.
Yeah, no, it really was. That's always fun when you have a lot of people in, and like I said, I mean, I've been doing shows on here for a long time, and that was the most live viewers I've ever seen in a show. So yeah, it was impressive. And thanks to everyone for joining us. That's always fun. Donnie and Jeff, now that betting is legal, is looking into referee trends worth anything? I've heard there's certain refs that trend towards unders and overs. Yeah, look, I think that's definitely something that I would concern myself with. I don't know that, like, I think in playoff games and like the NBA, I think it's something that you like, with certain, Marty Foster and guys like that. I think it's definitely something that I concern myself with. But like in the NFL, I don't know that it's a big deal. Maybe the NBA, like playoff stuff like that. Yeah, I would probably agree. Donnie, you're not big into ref stats, are you?
No, but look, I'm not going to go against something because I think like referee stats in football, I think might be a little bit skewed, Jeff, because how many are we dealing with out there? Side judges, referees. There's a lot of
Sure.
referees in the NFL, umpires, and all that stuff. The one that I think would serve the most credence would be Major League Baseball, just because the home plate umpire controls the strike zone. And then maybe number two right behind it, Jeff, maybe referees in like NCAA action or NBA, because there are certain statistics that some groups just don't like to call fouls. But in the NFL, it's hard. It's really hard.
Plus, Donnie, in the NBA, I mean, what was the one league that was vilified for rogue refs? The NBA.
Yeah, the NBA.
There are
Yep,
definitely, there are definitely trends in the NBA that in the playoffs I would use. But do I say I use it in, like, I've used umpire stats before? Like, I think during like baseball sometimes maybe, but I don't too much worry about it. Just NBA playoffs probably. What else do we have here? Public. Yeah, the public killed yesterday, Donnie. According to some sports books. Yeah, great work. According to some sports books, including MGM, Jay Rude said it was a disaster. We're pretty much done at this point. Really bad since Caesars. We won one key decision today. Good. Fuck you. Poid Gaming, public nailed it. They had all the big favorites: Bears, Chiefs, Panthers, Vikings, as well as the short dogs. Lot of books took it in the backside yesterday. Jay Cornegay from Westgate. We had a big punch today. It could snowball into Monday. Good thing we'll be open on Tuesday. Listen, no one's feeling sorry for the fuck. I love the books actually think that people care that they're upset and they lost yesterday. They'll get it back. We know they will. They're the books. They always win. But it's sweet sometimes not to see the books squirm after a bad Sunday. Everything went against them. The only thing that didn't go against them, really, Donnie, was last night. The under came in, but Patriots covered. So it was kind of a double-edged sword for them. Wasn't a good day for the books. Everybody covered. Kansas City got in. A lot of the book said, a lot of short favorites, that kind of thing. A nice night for bettors. You have to figure, though, Donnie, it's going to come back around at some point. I would be very careful next week if I'm a public bettor. This kind of, some of these line moves, they're not gonna be as easy next time, and the books will get even, Donnie.
No, and you're right. And the one I had one side yesterday that I gave out, Jeff, which is the Minnesota Vikings. And again, this is just a little public service announcement. Don't worry so much about public, because sometimes the sharps are with the public, sometimes they're not. So I know there's services out there, there's people out there that just say, I'm just going to look at line movement and I'm going to look at ratios to how many gambling tickets to money out there, just go that way. That's not the right. I mean, look, do you want to use that in your formula? Of course you do. But some things make more sense than others. And don't just think because 70% of the tickets are going one way, it's an automatic. Well, look at yesterday. I mean, they all prevailed fairly easily in those games. Keep your options open. Use that ticket count and fading the public like 5% of your betting intuition. Like, cap the game accordingly. See what the line is. Then go in later and say, "Ooh, look at that. It looks like it's a public side on this one." If you're just going in the games, because there's people out there that just say, "I'm just going to fade the public in this one. No way." Stop. Don't do that. It's 50-50 at best, fading the public and chasing steam. do your analysis, and then at the end, look, maybe it sways you over the top, Jeff, if you're on a non-public side, or maybe it's just too public for you and you just want to pull back on that. I understand that, but don't just set your card in the week and say, look, there's 7 games out here that the public's heavily on, and I'm just going to see if I can get after those. No, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself.
No, you got to have a good mix of everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What else do we have here? Let's move into yesterday's recap in the NFL. An interesting day. We will start it out, though, with the let's move that down there. Behind
New
the
England,
scenes,
Jeff.
people. Yeah,
New
I
England.
follow that thing. Sorry, yeah, New England. We're starting out with New England. Interesting. Let's not start out with New England. Let's start out with.
Hold on.
Let's start out
Before
with.
we get to this, look, Jeff,
Yeah.
people watch this for the time stamps on there. Do you see how it reads across the screen like SEC, Bama conspiracy? Like that's 1, 2. What happens if they come in or watch it in replay and they see you talking Embiid Drummond first, and then they just have to skip through because they figure they missed the first 3?
Well, I don't know. That's something they'll have to figure out, I guess. Listen, I'm trying to go in chronological order. I'm going to start with the 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I'm not starting the 8
but
o'clock.
like if you go right in order, because you do this sometimes as well. Like you'll start with like Falcons whip the Skins, and then we'll forget about the Steelers because you didn't go in order. Like I'm
not
an
gonna
old
skip
man.
it.
Like I look right in a line and be like, all right, that's
I'm
where
not.
we're at. Like it helps
I'm
me
not gonna.
like get my notes.
I'm not going to skip it. Stafford sacked yesterday 10 times. This was terrific by the Vikings defensive line. They were great against the run. They were terrific in the red zone. They did enough on offense. Big fumble 6 to really put the game out of reach. Vikings, nice win at home. Impressive work by that defense.
No, it was really good work yesterday. And watching that game, like I fired early in the week on Minnesota. This was before any injury information. The minute Golden Tate was traded from the Detroit Lions, I already liked Minnesota as a side. I'm like, nice. Thielen and Diggs will be pretty good this week. I know Rhodes is going to be back at corner. And then everything started going against me, Jeff, during the week. Mysterious injuries during the week. And all of a sudden at Wednesday practice, Diggs is on the sideline with a rib injury he can't recover from. How about if somebody would have told you before the game, Jeff, if you're going to go in with those injuries, Xavier Rhodes would leave early in the second quarter. And by the way, Thielen's going to catch 22 yards versus balls. You would be like, what? Detroit's going to come in here and smoke him out. Now, you're right, Jeff. 10 sacks. They obliterated Matt Stafford. And you can't tell me, Jeff, what was Detroit's, I want to say, favorite play for the past 3 years with Golden Tate? What did they like to do with him?
Use him in the slot.
Rocket screen right off there, right? Snap the football, throw it within a half second into the flat. Golden Tate picks up 7 to 8 yards, and you can't just get after the quarterback. All of a sudden, Jeff,
anymore.
Matthew Stafford gets sacked 10 times in a game because they removed Golden Tate as that emergency outlet. Man, that factored in huge. And credit to Mike Zimmer, whatever he was doing up front and, scheming things correctly. They just absolutely ran over the Detroit Lions yesterday.
Yeah, impressive work by them up front. That was terrific stuff. A nice, easy victory for Viking backers at home yesterday. Bills offense, another pathetic outing for that group. They put up 9 points. Were held scoreless till the third quarter. Peterman, look, again, was awful. I mean, and then, Donnie, I saw E.J. Manuel was out tweeting that, he's blown away that he doesn't have a job in the NFL and that Peterman does. And he also referenced that I wonder why he doesn't have a job. Listen, I mean, at this point, you have to ask yourself how guys like Nathan Peterman have NFL jobs. It's a good point, actually.
I mean, it's probably for a good reason, because if your goal really is not to win football games, you have the perfect guy. And if you're going to win, what's the difference between winning like 1 and 4 games? You probably would rather win 1 if you're in the NFL to get that higher draft pick. So there's a rhyme or reason. But having said that, Jeff, I'm not so sure if you put Aaron Rodgers on that team with Buffalo. You have Shady McCoy running like he has 2 cement blocks on his legs. You have wide receivers that are like 350 pounds who can't get open. How would anybody, any sane person against a legitimate defense, move the ball with what Buffalo has to offer out there? And I get back to laughing, Jeff, where people were prodding around, most likely the Eagles, saying, we need a running back. Hey, Shady. No, we're not going to give up Shady because we still want to play out the year. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, we don't want to give up Deshaun Jackson. We're in win now mode. Sometimes these organizations, I don't even think they understand what they even have in their own locker room, Jeff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I mean, you have to think at least Peterman could do something, but a lot of you had these you know you had some interception, pick sixes. Chicago was
Fumble
great on defense
returns.
today, just
Yeah.
flying around, doing their thing,
And by
which
the
is
way,
what
I
they
had the
do.
I had the over 37.5 yesterday, Jeff. And I'm not gonna lie, I saw the first and goal from the 1 yard line with the Bills. And I'm not gonna lie to you, Jeff, it was a 50-50 proposition whether or not the Bills would get a touchdown to me at that point. And I was shaking. I was shaking in my boots like usually you see like one, you're like, oh, dude, this is just easy. And then I saw Chris Ivory go up the middle, get shut down and injured. I'm like, this is going to end badly because how many times do you see like the next play, which is a quarterback sneak or a quarterback keeper, that they get the false start because they're out too quick and they move it back to the 5? I was in panic mode, like, and then they ended up scoring in the 50s total. But man, that Buffalo Bills offense doesn't help you, does it? Shoo.
No, they don't. Who do you guys like in tonight's NFL game? We will get to that here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Notice that little ticker on the side. We try to follow that. What else we have? Falcons. How about this? Nice night. Yeah, nice day yesterday for Atlanta. I was unsure if they could go on the road and do this kind of thing, but impressive performance by them. Go on the road and really whip up an overrated Redskin team. Now you look at the prospect of down the road who the Redskins have to play on this offensive line. Alex Smith, he did enough, but I mean, the rest of this run game, Donnie, just couldn't get anything going yesterday. Adrian Peterson was bottled up all day. Nice job yesterday by the Falcons. They ran the ball effectively. Matt Ryan was good, 4 touchdowns. Even Julio got into the touchdown act. He was terrific. Yesterday, Donnie, 26 receptions for the Falcons receivers, 350 yards. I mean, Matt Ryan was terrific getting the ball to them. A great offensive day for the Falcons. And I got to tell you, nice day defensively as well. Really bottled up a Redskins team that had been moving the ball somewhat on the ground.
Yeah, Dinkin and Duncan yesterday, Jeff. The MO of the Alex Smith career in the NFL looks like it caught up to him yesterday. It seems like, Jeff, the way to beat the Washington Redskins is just get a lead on them. I don't even care if it's 1 point because it's pretty clear that Alex Smith just can't deliver. Now, again, he's dealing with a little bit of injuries at wide receiver. I fully understand that. Healthy now in the offensive line, that's in a question, which seems like it's a question mark every year. You know what I mean? They get injured. It's like if you look at the Mets pitching staff, Jeff, every year that gets injured, it's the Washington Redskins offensive line. Every year they get injured, and it looks like they lost another 2 linemen yesterday, so we'll see how they can repair that. But you look, get ahead of the Washington Redskins, and they just can't come back to beat you. From start to finish, Atlanta looked like the much, much better football team in that game. And good for our Philadelphia Eagles. Ended the game yesterday 5-2, now 5-3. Injuries a wash all over that Washington Redskins team, but a really nice win by the Falcons, Jeff. Because I know the old antidote is, look, you're taking a dome team, going outdoors against a physical team. It doesn't work out well. Kudos to Atlanta. They played a really good football game.
They surely did. That's a great point. I'm happy that they were able to go out on the road and win like that because generally they haven't. Big man, what is your NSCA football record? I am 10-14 on the season, but 6-1 in the
Jeff.
NFL, Donnie.
Ooh.
6-1 in the NFL. So maybe I'm
Jeff,
the
why
new
aren't you
NFL
doing that?
king.
Why aren't you doing all the NFL shit? Like, why are you doing these college football shows on the channels? Just drop
I
that
don't
and get on
know.
the NFL with us.
It might be a good question. But I'll tell you what, I've really started to turn it around. So I mean, I'll answer every question. I know people are, those guys just come in here to have fun with me, but it's okay. I mean, I'm actually after NFL having a winning season in both sports. So, thanks for coming in, Chris Michael. Ronnie Zero, do you guys have opinions on the Giants and Jets? Is it over for their season? Yes, I would say so. I think after yesterday, Donnie, and we didn't have this in the rundown here, but Sam Darnold quickly continues to really be a turnover machine.
Yeah, and he's not getting any help there with that Jets offense, which is it's
Yeah.
hard for a young quarterback. And don't we see that a lot though, Jeff? Because mostly quarterbacks that get drafted high are going to teams that aren't very good to begin with. So he's not surrounded by a lot of weapons. I mean, you did get some help back yesterday in Robbie Anderson and Quincy Enunwa, but they're still injured, still getting their way back, on a sloppy turf yesterday and didn't perform again for the second straight week. I don't know how much you can blame Darnold for that because he doesn't have a lot to work with out there, but you want to see a better performance. But you always have to keep, same like Baker Mayfield struggling. There's a reason why his team stinks. There's a reason why Sam Darnold's team stinks. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? They'll get better as they go. They just need some weapons to help them out.
You're totally right with that. Down the road, you just got to get those turnovers fixed. Thanks, Mikey D. Randy Lockhart checking in. Welcome in. Bill Butlicker is in here. Welcome in. Donnie, it's
Mhm.
funny. I was watching a video. I don't know why I was watching it, but I came across this video of one of our compadres here on the channel, Flash. He was doing a video on that. Donnie, Flash is known for back when he played at Southampton, he took a dive. He basically was tripped and he fell down and he's always known for that. He dove
He's a
basically.
meme.
I would think he would. He probably would be in this day and age. But it was back in the '90s when he played in the Premier League, and he's known for that. So Flash was talking about this dive one time, and I want to say I saw Bill Butlicker on the comments commenting on it, and I thought that was funny, like seeing him there. Bill loves Flash, and Bill's a great follower of the channels. I would
Yeah,
get a
he is.
kick out of seeing him when I just see random people in comments like on YouTube, and I see Bill Butlicker on there. I thought that was funny. But he loves some Flash in his life.
Mhm.
Steelers get right yesterday. Nice win against the Ravens. Ravens have really fallen behind the wayside, haven't they, Johnny?
Yeah, I don't know what to make of him, Jeff. Now you're looking at coaches on the hot seat out there. Joe Flacco returned back to what's the best play for the Ravens over the past decade while Joe Flacco's been there has been pass interference. So not even when you're getting those calls anymore, but they were taken to the woodshed. Don't even let that little comeback in the fourth quarter to close it within like 7 points fool you. The Steelers dominated that football game from start to finish, and the fading of the Ravens, Jeff, and the Steelers. Look, man, they're climbing up in the ranks. No longer that defensive sieve back there. They gotten healthy on defense. They have a pass rush. They stopped the run. Looks pretty good for the Steelers moving forward. Just got to keep the health going with James Conner, keep the health going with Big Ben, because they have the weapons at wide receiver and the overall scheme to be a very formidable opponent down the stretch. I like what the Steelers are doing, but I've liked them all season long since, again, that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So there's going to be value on the Steelers winning the AFC North, and here they are.
Texans have won 6 straight. I thought yesterday the line really said it all in that game, but again, moving with line movements hasn't worked the last couple weeks. They had a chance to win it, Denver. Brandon McManus. Brandon McManus is an interesting guy. He continues to keep a job at Denver. He's mixed some big
Temple's
kicks in his
finest.
career. Yeah, he's made some good, big kicks, but he's also missed some big kicks, and you also have to put him, kind of on the shelf. I mean, he's missed, his last 2 weeks, he's missed 3 field goals. He has had a decent year and he's had a decent career, but, he's starting to miss some big kicks, and those kind of kicks are kind of magnified yesterday. I also saw on the sidelines Bill O'Brien. Did you see what he said about Vance Joseph? Did you see that? Bill
No, I
O'Brien
did
should
not.
stay in his lane.
Was it
He was,
mouthed or was it actual
yeah,
interview?
you could see him mouthed on the sidelines saying something like, "Yeah, that's what you get, you idiot, Vance Joseph," or "dumbass," or something like that. Some weird statement, but he should slow his roll a little bit and just you know, let, it's nothing you're doing, Bill, by winning all these games. Just stay in your lane, dude. All right.
It's crazy because you
Um,
know what? I don't like Bill O'Brien at all, but I think he is a better overall coach than Vance Joseph. Then alone,
well, sure
anybody
he
is
is.
probably a better overall coach. I mean, Vance Joseph is down in that Hugh Jackson territory. You're trying to tell me at the end of a football game where you have some timeouts, and we all know that the defense. I mean, look, they're not in prevent mode, but you can just get chunk plays, 6 yard outs, throw it over the middle to running backs. The fact that you ran the clock down like you were at the 10 yard line was absolutely hilarious, Jeff. Can you take me through the process of we're going to win this football game with a kick over 50 yards? Now, look, I understand that it was nice weather. There wasn't much wind. But you're talking about a human being lining up from 50 plus yards with the weight of the world on his shoulders. That's not an easy kick. I don't even care if you're a professional. Look, we saw back in the day, Jeff, Peja Stojakovic, one of the best three-point shooters at all time, wide open to beat the Lakers from three, and he didn't even hit the rim. Stress in that situation is too much. You think he would have liked to line up, Jeff, from 27, 28, or maybe 35 yards as opposed to 51 in that spot?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Is he not fired
Yeah,
today?
Don.
For what reason? Yeah.
No, listen, I'm not saying that he should be, but it seems like he has been hanging on there for a lot. Like Dan Bailey, Donnie. I mean, he was let go. I mean, who do you think's a better like overall kicker?
Well, I mean, Dan Bailey's getting older and injured, so I mean, but you're going to go with the young leg that can bomb away, especially in Denver. He has missed some big kicks there, but for his career, he's been a decent kicker up there. But again, look,
And I
you
guess
have to make that. When you're paid to make a field goal like that, you should make the 51-yarder. But that 51-yarder wasn't like a first quarter kick with no pressure. Like all the pressure was on you in that spot. That's like a 50-50 kick from 50 yards to win the game in the NFL.
I mean, look, I guess at the end of the day, it is hard to find good kickers, and you look around the league, it's not it's not exactly easy, but
How about the Chargers, Jeff? Can they find one?
oh yeah. Well, I mean,
Sturgis was
Caleb
the best
Sturgis.
again yesterday. What is going
that's
on with that team? I mean, they're just one of those things where you just get snake bitten, where you just like no matter like some teams can't just draft like wide receivers, they bust all the time. Just you can't find a competent kicker. Hey,
But
guys,
here's the
let's have
thing, Donnie.
a search out here. Just make 35-yard field goal. They can't do it.
I mean, again, and I don't mean to be, I know, we're here talking. We have kind of the avenue to talk about this stuff, and it's probably easier said than done. But Donnie, at what point did you actually think Vance Joseph would be successful as a coach? I mean, it just was a bad hire from the beginning. Vance Joseph is not a head coach. It's like Mike McCoy. He's not a head coach either. Some of these guys aren't head coaching material. I don't know where they came off thinking that this would work. Vance Joseph is going to be just another, firing that John Elway's going to make. And John Elway continues to make mistakes. John Elway has not been able to draft a quarterback. The coaching stuff has been a mess. I mean, why'd you ever get rid of Gary Kubiak, Donnie?
Yeah. No, there's something to be said. I think Gary Kubiak's health was failing also during the end of his
True,
career,
but
which was a shame part of that. But the Wade Phillips of the world. Now, when you look overall at Denver, like, and it's the same way in draft picks to me because I'm pretty knowledgeable about the NFL and teams. When you hear a name come up like, and the Broncos just found their head coach, it's Vance Joseph. When 90% of the public goes, who did they just hire? Where did he come from? Never heard of him. Like, how when a pick comes up in the NFL, like the 23rd pick, and it's just some dude from like Mississippi State, and people are like, who did we just draft? They
Yeah, like
usually means
Marcus
your draft
Smith.
sucked. Yes. Marcus Smith, Louisville. Who? Yes. There's a reason why
I mean,
people
Donnie,
say who because he's busted on.
You know that I'm a big draft guy, and I was skeptical at even knowing who he was. Like, I didn't know who that was when they drafted him. I was just like, whoa, who? But
Yep.
Vance
And
Joseph,
then you say, hey, we had Marcus Smith. What were you doing? Well, I actually took a nap in the first round because I thought it was a third-round pick. That's just sensational. But we could do a whole nother show on that.
I mean, Donnie, in 2015, Vance Joseph was a defensive backs coach in the NFL. He had 1 year as defensive coordinator at the Miami Dolphins, and that was, I guess, good enough to become a head coach.
Fast riser, Jeff. Fast riser.
Go figure. What else do we have here? A couple comments here. Will there be a show addressing tomorrow's Michigan State, Kansas, Duke, Kentucky games? Some basketball action. Yes, we'll talk about that tomorrow on this show. We'll talk about those two games exactly. Where's the guy who made the $5,000 investment on the Redskins yesterday? Good point. That guy was very annoying in the show yesterday. He kept commenting on, he kept asking us if he should make that bet, and we told him no, it's a weird game, and he insisted on it. So I'm guessing we won't see him for a while. One final one, Don, actually two final. The Saints beat the Rams, and look, I was wrong. I thought the Rams would be able to take care of business yesterday. They come back, they tie the game, but they just weren't ever really able to get up over the top. Defensively, they looked brutal yesterday. It was really hard to watch, frankly, those guys on defense. And look, I mean, if you can kind of deal with that defensive line, you're not gonna not have success against that secondary. That's secondary stinks. I loved all the people in the offseason that said, "Oh, the Rams defense, they're gonna be so good. They got Marcus Peters." Marcus Peters was toasted yesterday, like Donnie, like burnt bread in the toaster. It was pathetic to watch. They get shredded all day yesterday. That Saints offense is very legitimate, as we know.
Yeah, and it just goes to show you the shift in the NFL from defense to offense. It's almost like, Jeff, you're probably better off loading up on offense, and then when you look at your defense, get just a few pass rushers. Get people that can just stand up in the secondary, maybe make a play every once in a while. But when you have the lead, you're just looking for a sack at that point to put a team at 2nd and 14, 3rd and 15, and try to move it off the field. Because what the New Orleans Saints are doing on offense, Jeff, like they are playing chess when the entire NFL is playing checkers out there. They do I've never seen it before, Jeff. I've never seen a team that can say, you know what, let's just get physical and run the football with Ingram. Let me just throw it out in the flat to one of the most dynamic playmakers in the NFL, Alvin Kamara, when he's at running back. Let me have one of the better younger wide receivers in the NFL in Michael Thomas. And oh, yeah, I have a big, huge, dominating offensive line with one of the most accurate quarterbacks of all time. Jeff, Drew Brees came into the game yesterday throwing for almost 80% completion rate. How do you stop this team? How do you they lost to the Buccaneers week 1, not because of their offense, because they put up 41 points, but then have ripped off the next couple, or what, 7 or 8 straight in a row now? How do you stop, unless you get New Orleans outside in a 50-mile-an-hour wind where Drew Brees can't throw, but then you say, well, wait a second, they can still run the football. I don't know how you stop the New Orleans Saints right now. I don't know.
Yeah, I think obviously you have to get them on the road. I mean that's obviously easier said than done. But this could very much be, Donnie, a simplicity of if they get the first, which it's likely that they are. If they get the number 1 seed, they're probably not going to lose. I mean, and that's you look at last year with the Eagles. I mean, that was kind of a similar situation. You had the feeling that if they got that first seed, you're not going to go into Philly and beat them. They just don't get beat there, and that's probably another indication here. Here's the thing, though, Donnie, that I think you always kind of have in the back of your head, though. You can score on them. I mean, you get one bet. It's difficult to win those 2 or 3 games in a row that you have to win to get to the Super Bowl. You get them on a bad day where maybe, it's just one of those days. They're not, if they had an elite defense, obviously no one would beat them. But, they can be scored on, Donnie. I mean, that was obviously seen yesterday. You get 1 or 2 things to go your way yesterday. The Rams would win that game. Ravens, same way. So listen, they're a bad defense. So that's, I guess, one of your saving graces, and we'll kind of see how it goes. But yeah, I think if they get the number 1 seed, they're not going to lose.
It's a little bit of NFC East updates here, Jeff. Redskins guard Brandon Sheriff, one of the better guards in the NFL, is believed to have suffered a torn pectoral injury based on the initial diagnosis. Has an MRI today, but they're fearing for the worst. Also, team bracing for news on guard Sean Lovallo as well, looking like he might be out for the year with an ACL tear, all on the back of Trent Williams being out 4 weeks on top of that as well. So, Alex Smith, time to earn a little bit of money down there. How are you going to dink and dunk, Jeff, when you can't even get 1 second to throw the football?
Probably not going to be able to. Last but not least, New England beats the Packers. Who cares? I'm so sick of fucking New England. Like, is anyone else sick of New England? I am.
It's just perfection. It ain't going anywhere. Brady will be out there at 51.
No,
we'll say maybe at the beginning of the season, they'll open up 1-2, and Tom Brady's 51 years old. We'll all say the regime is finally over, and then here they come down the stretch because it gets to the point every single year, Jeff. Let's go over New England Patriots. They win their games, maybe split out of conference, you know what I mean, or maybe lose a game or 2 out of division. And then you say, these jokers got to play the Buffalo Bills twice, the New York Jets twice, and the Miami Dolphins twice. Like in the NFL, Jeff, in the EPL, you get relegated. Can we move this team, the New England Patriots, into play the AFC North? Can we move them in with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals? We'll take the Browns. Put the Browns in the AFC East, and we'll just replace them with the Patriots. So maybe you don't get an unfair advantage for 20 years that you play every AFC title game at home just because of who you play in your own division. It's not fair anymore. It's just not fair anymore.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've just been very lucky. I mean, I don't, they've been very good. I mean, no one's going to lie about that, but they've also had the benefit of every year they play, like you said, the Bills and the Dolphins and the Jets.
Resistance in 20 years. They haven't even faced a single resistance other than like 1 year where Miami ran the Wildcat and Tom Brady got hurt. There's no resistance for 20 straight years in that division.
Sure, and it also helps, like you said, that you go through, how long's Tom Brady been in the NFL, Donnie? 20 years now, probably?
At least. Yes.
He's been injured 1 season. I mean, that's unheard of. Yeah, I hear you. I'll still continue to say I don't think they win the Super Bowl this year. And that offense, I thought until the fourth quarter, I thought it was very average. Very bogged down.
But you're talking about if they get a healthy Gronk back, Sony, like, you know what I mean? Like, Gronk's their best weapon, who's the hugest mismatch. They go into that game without even Gronkowski, and they just win by double digits, man. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Green Bay looks mean, Green Bay couldn't. They had no one in there. It seemed like on defense. Aaron Rodgers, you got to look. I continue. I will feel somewhat bad for the guy. I mean, some of those receivers has are trash. I mean, they don't catch
Yeah,
the
they wasted.
ball.
They wasted Aaron Rodgers' years. I mean, he still has a lot of good years left. But if you're going to tell me Aaron Rodgers is going to go down, Jeff, and win one Super Bowl in his career, and remember all the years that Ted Thompson, man, guy's the best GM in the world. They don't spend any money on free agents. They do it all in house. Well, it's the same way that the New England Patriots haven't drafted all that well over the past couple of years because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you have the best quarterback on the planet. They cover up for everything. Can you imagine if the Packers drafted well and added real weapons? I mean, real big-time wide receivers around the Aaron Rodgers out there. Like, what happens if they ended up with like an A.J. Green or overpaid or traded for like an Antonio Brown with him? Would they stop anybody? Would anybody get any stops against them? But no, they're like, you know what? We'll find Valdez Scantling out there. We'll have this little man, Randall Cobb, run around. We'll take these undrafted guys, and we'll show you. Yeah, congratulations.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Donnie, one other thing about these Rodgers and Brady. When you're talking about the greats, make sure Drew Brees is in there. Drew Brees is right now, Donnie. I would take Drew Brees over both those two. At this point in there, at this point,
I don't think I would because
in this season I would
in elements. But I think like in elements, like if it's 40 degrees out, 20-mile-an-hour winds, I think Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers would be a better quarterback than Drew Brees. But if you're just saying for in a controlled environment, it's hard to go against them because he's got a great play caller behind him. But all quarterbacks need good. The only guy that has the worst system is Mike McCarthy calling plays for Aaron Rodgers. But the whole Bill Belichick, Josh McDaniels scheme is outrageous. The same way it is right now for Andy Reid. Andy Reid, where was all this in Philadelphia, Andy Reid? Look, I know you had some decent offenses, but some stagnant-ass, non-running, 3-yard pass West Coast offenses that we had to deal for 10 years. Now, all of a sudden, Andy Reid's innovative as all hell out there. Where the hell was that at? But some of these guys are getting a real benefit lift. I'm just saying, Jeff, from if you have to go outdoors. Like I probably would want Aaron Rodgers if it was a bad weather conditions because he can move around in the pocket and has a laser at arm. But I could see your point of view, though.
I love Drew Brees. He's killing it. Good for him. Killing it. Let's move on to college here, Donnie. We'll get back to NFL here with the Monday night preview here in just a bit. Generally we talk about that on the 3:00 show anyway. Bama, beat down. Yeah, I mean, listen. I know we keep including this. Maybe I should just stop. I mean, I don't know why we're again. I don't know how to say, but I continue to try to tell people, why do you try to step in front of Alabama? I heard all these people on Saturday. LSU's going to cover.
I wanted to.
They're at home.
Yeah.
They're at home in the whatever they call that stadium. They got Ed Orgeron.
Yeah.
They're it's nighttime. They're gonna just defend better than everyone else. Give me a fucking break. Joe Burrow stinks. That offense stinks. They're overrated. Ed Orgeron stinks. Give me a break. Bama's not losing to anybody this year. Just give it up.
Makes like $1 million to be a defensive coordinator. We got Dave Aranda.
Give it up. Brutal. Pathetic. LSU stinks.
And by the way, and how about this, though, Jeff? How about the fans getting excited, right? You get a 0-0 game. You get a false start out there. You take a cheap shot on Tua. You drill him in the leg. Looks like, you don't even know if he's going to be able to come back in. The crowd smells blood. There's no Jalen Hurts back there. And then Tua just comes in and says, yeah, I don't think so, man.
Yeah, see ya. Big man, how does the coach sound after the Bama loss?
Yep.
I walk in the game after I was big. I walk down the thing. I see all those fans. I got pretty excited. I think though we put a little too much pepper in the gumbo before the game. My wife put a little too much hot pepper in the jambalaya. We try real hard, but we'll get back to the drawing board. We get back at it, and we've got a big game next week. Go Tigers. He was not eating crow after that game, Donnie.
I made my wife, Jeff, watch. We watched before the game. Like I was watching, probably at least the first half of the game. And when Ed Orgeron got interviewed before the game to start on the sideline reporter, I had to turn it up and bring my wife into the room and say, "Listen to this man right here." It's great. I love it when he talks. It's like he doesn't say anything that's pertinent, but it's just fantastic interviews.
Yeah, he's a pretty fascinating guy. I often want to meet that guy someday. Clemson, they were on the warpath this week. They put up 70. Bobby Petrino has to get fired, right? I mean, that's kind of a fireable game after. I mean, you give up 77.
Why do they do
How
it?
do you?
What does Dabo Sweeney have against the ACC coaches? Like, he is on a path that we've never seen, Jeff. Just absolutely, positively, like, Like, there's ways to embarrass football teams, and then there's ways to absolutely embarrass the coach, the university, the coaches, the school's president, and their fan base all at once, and he does that.
Donnie, we do the breakdown. We go through every game on Saturday, Ian Cameron and I, which no one else does that on the internet. But so we went over this game, and I actually thought Louisville maybe could hang inside the 40-point number. I was dead wrong on that. But
Like, and did you see the game? Didn't you see the line before the game? You're saying, wait a second here. Like, I know, like, Clemson can hang it on people, but they have a little bit of athletes, and we'll see how really, like, 40 points is a lot for a
40
Division
points
One
against
football team.
Louisville.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's like La Tech versus Alabama. Like, ooh, I don't know if I can do it, but this is a legitimate football school getting 40, and they got
it's like
erased, eviscerated.
It's like you put 40 on if like Clemson plays like Alcorn State. It's like, okay, well, I could probably see that.
Yes.
But like Louisville, like, I mean, I guess competent. I mean, it's like that was the performance. But yeah, Bobby Petrino has to get fired after that. That was impressive stuff. Michigan. Donnie's asking if Michigan's for real. I mean, that's not a. I mean, for real. They've been for real.
Payback tour, Jeff. They're on the payback tour, and it's pretty fun to watch.
Michigan is the best defense in the country, and I got a kick out of Donnie as I walked in to do the show this morning. I saw the TV, and that Get Up show was on, and they were talking about Michigan, and what can Michigan do to beat Alabama? This is what the comment was: play stout defense. And I'm thinking,
oh yeah,
wow, they really went out on a limb to get that answer. It's like, yeah, we know they have to play stout defense to beat Alabama. Thanks for that one. But yeah, look, Michigan is for real. I'll continue to point that out. I love this team. I love Shea Patterson. I think Harbaugh's really starting to kind of get into the groove, calling plays. They're turning the teams over. They put that was a statement on Saturday, beating Penn State the way they do. It's just a shame, Donnie, that they're not going to play any of the big time games at home. That's the big concern you have with Michigan, because it's questioned if they can go on the road and win. And that's where I need to see them go on the road and kick someone's ass. But look, if they go into Ohio State and beat the Buckeyes, then I think we can say that I think they'll be in the top four just because of where they are right now. But are they top four team?
Top four, to be honest with you. I would, because I like that dichotomy they have. Like, give me the team that's going to, get real down and dirty and play nasty defense, as opposed to just some high flying ass offense that might want to sneak in the door. I would love to see Michigan get in the playoff.
They're going to be in the Final Four as far as on Tuesday when they release it. The thing is, for them to get into the Final Four, they're going to have to beat Ohio State. I mean, that's what they're going to have to do. There's a lot of football to be played, but I'm still up in the air with Michigan because I don't love them on the road. That's kind of my knock with them. But we'll ride the wave, Donnie, as they say, with the Wolverines. They've looked terrific. What else do we have here? Ohio State escapes. Yeah, this was this was a nice effort by Nebraska. Nebraska's at least hanging in games now. They're not getting beat 60-7 now. They're at least scoring some points. This game doesn't go over the number, though. Definitely a bad beat. If Nebraska puts 31 up, you think, all right, well, I think we're definitely going to have an easy over. That total's going to get into the 80s or something, but not so fast. Nebraska hangs around. Easy cover.
Yeah, I'm not liking what I see, though, Jeff, from Ohio State right now, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So it's going to be interesting here.
No, they don't look good. They really don't look good, and I think for them, they're going to have renewed opportunities, to beat Michigan and that kind of thing. But no, the defensively they don't look good right now. West Virginia, Donnie, I want to ask: did you hear my rendition the other day of Country Roads?
I've heard it many times. Yes.
Okay. Did you want me to do it now?
No, I do not want you to do it now.
Okay, well, I'm gonna do it now. Just do it. Shout out to John Denver. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, almost heaven. West Virginia. That's all I'll do. But Donnie, I love me some West Virginia. I really do. I used to love Donnie. There's a real quick. We have 10 minutes. I want to put this out, Donnie. The West Virginia, they play that at the end of every game, right? They play the country roads, right? Have
Yes.
you ever seen on YouTube? I urge all of you guys that listen to the show, after the show, go Google Buzz Williams, West Virginia. Buzz Williams, coach of Virginia Tech. Donnie, did you ever see when he was coach at Marquette? They went into West
Mhm.
Virginia and beat Marquette. So you know how like they go over and talk to the coach after the game. So Buzz Williams starts walking over from the bench and he starts dancing in the middle of the West Virginia sign as the song's going on. He goes, just going like this. And he walks over to like the announcers, and behind him, there's just a wall of West Virginia fans, and they're having to be held back. And Buzz Williams is just dancing right on the thing. And you got to look it up. It's hilarious. Those West Virginia fans love that song. They love that program. They love that sports department. It was an impressive win, though, for them over the weekend. They just keep doing what they have to do. Listen, I'm again not. If you're betting Texas as a favorite, you deserve to lose, Donnie.
Yes, Will Greer pulls out all the stops. What a dime he dropped, Jeff. What a dime under pressure that he dropped in the
Yes,
back of the end zone
terrific.
to get 1 foot down, and then comes out with the miracle 2-point conversion, Jeff, and then throws the old right here, Jeff. I mean, does this hurt? Does this really hurt Texas right now when you just score a 2-point conversion in their building and hit them with the horns down, man?
I
Woo!
love how Tom Herman tried to act like he was outsmarting everyone, calling a timeout, and he's like laughing. He's like, "Yeah, we really got them. They scored, and now we're not going to let them score now." And Will Greer says, "Fuck you. I'm running."
Yeah.
By the way, Donnie, I saw this tweet from someone at I think Barstool probably. Why is Will Greer not talked about as like the number one pick? I think he'd be an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, they
I,
get caught up in like
it's
that whole
terrific.
system talk, something like that,
Yeah, not worked out for others. The big buff might help
Mahomes.
Will Greer.
Yeah.
Yes, and one more,
Exactly. Yeah,
Donnie.
see, now, like, that's good for Mahomes. Mahomes, that system quarterback's going to make a lot of kids some money now. Well, what about Patrick Mahomes? Good for Patrick Mahomes opening that door, Jeff.
We saved the best for last, Donnie. And this
Hmm?
guy would never
Yeah,
get.
yeah.
No one's going to talk about him on ESPN or anywhere, but we're going to talk about him here on the right side of campus. We run the fan club for Andy Isabella, UMass wide receiver. Shout out to Andy Isabella, Donnie. 303 receiving yards this weekend, 2 touchdowns. Shout out to my paisan Andy Isabella from Mayfield, Ohio. Killed it over the weekend against Liberty, Donnie. 9 catches for 303. That's an average of 34 yards a catch. I had a nice 89-yard touchdown. And the UMass Minutemen beat Liberty 62-59. By the way, Donnie, those 25-mile-an-hour winds looks like they really affected this game over the total. Andy Isabella.
Big man, fired at 71 and a half. I got 67. I'm on the under.
Yeah, how'd that work out, dickhead? Andy Isabella fan club here, baby. Shout out to my paisan, my
Jeff, look,
Cougine.
let's see. Yep, let's see what he's done at West Virginia, Jeff. He has, let's see, 22,
You mean at UMass?
28 career receptions for touchdowns. Andy Isabella,
Sure.
800 yards as a sophomore, 1,000 as a junior, and we're halfway through. I'm slightly through halfway through the season. 1,394 yards this year and 11 touchdowns already. He has a shot, Jeff, to go over 1,500 yards. And won't he look really good opposite Julian Edelman in New England? They don't have to move out of the state, Jeff. He could just stay right in the state of Massachusetts, move right over.
No, I agree with you. I think this is a kid that I think will get drafted. I don't know when, I don't know where, but I think he's a kid that will fit in the NFL at this point. He is a terrific receiver in the slot. He's got good size. I mean, he's a little short.
He
but
doesn't really have good size, though. He's 5'10", 190,
but
but he's faster than everybody. He reminds me a lot of like a Brandon Cooks, Jeff. That's what he reminds me of.
no, he runs a 4.5 40. I mean, he's
Yes.
really fast. I mean, Wes Welker was 5'9". So I mean, again, I mean, he's
Andy
Cooper
Amendola,
Kupp,
like he's
definitely.
faster than those dudes. You know who should go there? They should the Patriots should draft Andy Isabella and then go right to Bowling Green and draft Scott Miller, and would just be wiping people out.
And again, I think for his skill set, he's a fine size receiver. I mean, all these Cole Beasleys and Wes Walkers and all those kind of players, they're shorter than Isabella. I mean, this kid will get respect in this show. A killer game, and I'll shout him out because Donnie, what did we say before the game? Isabella needs to go off.
That's every
It is
week. Has
developmental.
anybody, by the way, has anybody in the country bet more UMass games over the past 4 or 5 years than me and you? Like, who looks at you,
No.
an independent school that nobody cares about? We've bet them a ton, man. It's amazing.
Well,
And
I
by the
mean,
way,
you got to.
Andrew Ford's out. Jeff Ross Comas is in. No way. Come on, man. It doesn't matter. Whipple runs an unbelievable offensive scheme, and it's not his fault, but to the detriment of their own team. Their defense always stinks, which makes it great football, man.
I mean, by the way, shout out to Andrew Ford, whose career is over at UMass. Had a good career there. But Donnie, you look at over the years. I mean, Tajay Sharp, Tennessee receiver, he was at UMass. Was a terrific
Yes.
receiver. Remember
Yeah.
Blake Fronaffle?
Fronaffle. They're the quarterback. Sure, of course.
By the way, I looked Blake Fronaffle up on Google. Donnie, you know where he's at now?
No, what's he doing? Reno League?
If you're interested, he's an account executive at Wealth Engine. It's a DC-based for a finance company. So not in any football. He's graduated, but you look at some of these guys. I mean, UMass is terrific. I love betting on UMass. They're the best. I love betting on UMass overs. All right, Donnie, we'll wrap it up here. Listen, guys, here's what we want. Everybody check out the show at 3 o'clock. We'll get into some Monday Night Football, Cowboys and Titans. Cowboys laying 5.5. A lot of love for this Cowboy team, Donnie, now that Amari Cooper's there. I'm in the kind of thought process of I don't think we should start counting out the Cowboys just yet in the NFCs. This team has a pretty good defense. They're at home in this game. I'm going to be looking possibly at the Dallas Cowboys tonight. Quickly, Donnie, we'll kind of break it down more in the show later. Any thought quickly, 2-3 minutes here?
Yeah, and Dallas hasn't shown the propensity all that year to blow teams out outside of that Jacksonville game. So I think the game's going to be a slow, hard-fought game. But look, we're looking at 40 points. 40 is an over-under. I think the game's tendency is to go under, but it's 40. You saw the Buffalo Bills game that go backwards on offense, have a 50-point total in that game. It's unhealthy. It's unhealthy for your conscience. It's unhealthy for your wallet to ever consider an under. So just don't do it, even though I did consider the under on the Audible last night in the Green Bay Packers game. Still had to sweat that one out. Don't back the unders. I'll look towards taking the points tonight because I think both these two teams are similar, Jeff.
Yeah, no. By the way, the Lakers got crushed last night, just to point that out. Shout out to the Lakers. Lakers are back, baby.
No Kawhi. Oh, easy win.
Yeah. By the way, Lakers are 4-6. Just to remind all you Laker fans. Luke Walton's going to be running out of town. I guess LeBron's going to coach, Donnie. Is that what's going to happen?
No,
LeBron
Jeff, they said Luke's good for the year. Luke had a shakedown pep talk that said, you must win this next game. He did. And then Magic said he won't be fired for the rest of the year because of a week one win.
I love how yesterday they asked Magic. He's getting fired. He said, nah, he's not getting fired. So, okay, thanks. Appreciate that. Luke,
He's not going to either. You actually had to have a meeting with him in like the first 2 weeks of the season to say, you better turn it around and win tonight. Then he does. Then he gets an embarrassing loss, but he's good to go all of a sudden. Boy, I would hate to be. Look, Luke Walton's going to make a lot of money. He can always be an assistant coach somewhere else. He's making head coaching money, so I don't feel bad for him. But can you imagine like having an owner looking over you going, you got to win this game. And you're saying, Magic, like, we're in like the first 2 weeks of the season. Yeah, but you got to win tomorrow night. Oh my goodness, I would.
Yeah, but Donnie, if they start the season 10-19, can that really be put up with?
No, I'm telling you, the NBA won't allow them. The NBA won't allow the Lakers to stink. It's going to be impossible. They might even change like salary cap structure and demand a trade. Like Jimmy Butler goes to the Lakers like straight up for JaVale McGee. Like they'll allow that to make sure the Lakers sustain themselves.
Real quick, LeVar Ball back in news says he could coach the Lakers with his eyes closed.
See, now that's something you need. Yes, like Magic. You're a businessman. Imagine LeVar Ball head coach of the Lakers. They would be prime time every single game. It would be awesome.
Yeah,
I love it.
I would watch it every night. I would love to see him in that NBA coaching. That would be so good. All right, guys, we'll wrap it up. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back at 3 o'clock, 2 p.m. Central, 12 Pacific with the closing line. On iHeartRadio, WCKG out in Chicago, all different Periscopes, all sorts of stuff. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. We'll be back for that. Everyone have a great day. Thanks for watching The Right Side of Campus. Hit the like button. We'll see you tomorrow here on the show. Bye-bye.